Hey guys, so here we are at Aquarium Zen, and we are checking out some of the Betta Botanical brands that they're carrying now, and they've got some really interesting stuff here. They've got the Tannin Bay variety pack, which is supposedly just for your Betta. It's kind of all around alder cones, catappa leaves, some twigs and things, which is nice that they actually include twigs. And then there's also maple and some other oak and things like that. Then they also have a Blackwater pack, which is a bigger pack. It's actually probably half a pound, so it's a good amount of leaves crammed in there. And there are all sorts of different, like, chipped wood and pieces of pods, as well as broken tidbits of things, and then whole leaves as well. So you can really make quite a scape or a scene with it. Oak, beech tree, bamboo, catappa, and loquat, and coconut husks in there. And then in here we got the Everglade pack, which is kind of interesting in that this one's got your casawara cones, rather, needles, shingles, live oak, oak twigs, magnolia pod, Persian walnut leaves, and then there's also some just duff and other things from the forests of southern Florida, cypress and stuff, it looks like. And same with this Betta specific pack, which has more of your alder cones and some little seed pods and things. It also has guava leaves, jackfruit leaves, saipan pods, cocoa curls, catappa bark, mahogany pods, which is kind of cool, and the sterculia pods, which are really neat, as well as the smaller guava leaves. But the mahogany, that's interesting, and I don't see that in a lot of packs. So over here they've still got even more choice, which is neat. They've got the sapin wood. This stuff will make your water a lot oranger and yellow, and it's got some interesting properties to it, just like, you know, cinnamon and the other things that are out there do. This is Arjuna, and it's been used a long time in India as a medicinal plant. It's a cool looking plant too. They almost look like dried star fruit or something, and they add a lot of, you know, structure, hiding places, and grazing area for your critters if you need your shrimp or your other critters in your tank, maybe little gobies or something, to have spots to either feed their young or to hide or just to eat. And these are kaya pods. These again are ones that you don't really see very often, kind of tropical and unusual. And then there's also kutch bark, which this is almost like the duff that you would get, or coconut fiber from processing either coconut or palm tree fiber, the outside husk stuff, which is kind of interesting. Then you got your typical mango leaves in big size, which is nice. They're not broken or anything. Then you've got your I'm guessing bamboo. I can't see though, but yeah, I think it's bamboo. And these are nice. A good substitute for them if you don't have bamboo and you're trying to collect on your own is willow leaves from weeping willows. Work really well, and they don't add a lot of color to the water, but they add a lot of structure to your under structure of your tank, which is nice, to the substrate. And then they've got small catappa leaves, large catappa leaves, medium catappa leaves. They've got cacao leaves, which is interesting, kind of cool. And these are big and folded in half, it looks like, so they're really big when you put them in the tank. So you can really get some size and variety. Also, they're carrying even more stuff down here. The casawarina needles, which is like the duff from the floor of the forest, kind of tricky to find sometimes. Same with these pods. These are starting to be more common in the hobby, but sometimes, like I said, you just can't figure out where to get these. But Aquarium Zen has them. Word has it that they're going to be selling online soon. Same with these palm joints, where the different segments of the tree growing out cast away. And then there's magnolia pods in here, and then also what they call ram's horn pods, that are a cone that kind of peels up like that. And coconut shells, obviously. These make great little homes for anything from blue rams to pistogramma to Nanacara species, things like that. Now, another really cool thing that they have here in the botanicals is they've got the, well, banana leaves, which don't do much either as far as to the chemistry of the water, but they do provide a ton of surface area and they last a good while. But what I was going to say, the interesting one here are these palm fronds. They really give you some detailed structure and little hiding places for your microfauna, any sort of little isopods or Daphne or anything like that. It looks really nice when you've got all that with it. And then along with that, they've got this darker wood, root woods and things from different bushes, from rosewoods and from, sometimes they call it black forest wood. Then they've got the spider wood, obviously. They've got the cholla wood, and there's two different kinds really of like the farther out kind, as well as the heart of the plant when it's older. And then there's also some really intense tangles of roots that are related to the spiderwood but have another name coming in lately. So there's a lot of different choices now of what you can get. Some of this stuff like has a really nice actual like black walnut looking finish to it, or cherry finish. Then there's also Mopani driftwood and Malaysian driftwood that are still good choices, big chunks, heavy wood with lots of oils and tannins. You can even see the glistening on it. So lots of choices here at Aquarium Zen in Seattle, and I'm not sure if it's up yet, but I know they are intending on going online with some of this stuff. And you know, I used to work here, so I like to give them a shout out, but obviously this is not a paid ad or anything. I'm just showing some of the cool stuff they have here right now. And in the way of wood and things, they've got, you know, lots of different pieces, and as well as Tom Barr in the past has curated a lot of the manzanita and other stuff that comes through here. And I know right now he's going on a big collecting binge down in California as we speak, and him and Luke Wang are collecting quite a bit of stuff, I guess, on the weekends, from gnarled manzanita root balls and things. And some of this wood's really interesting too. This kind of worm-eaten or aged weathered wood can make some really kind of out there scapes. And in the way of the stone, they've got a lot of variety of stone right now, and they've got this rhino stone that I had been looking for a long time that is exciting to see. And this stuff, like elephant stone, like thousand layer stone kind of, but much more firm, and there's actual banding in the stone, which is neat. So that's pretty cool. There's sandy island stone, which is a conglomerate, sedimentary with minerality to it. There's some sort of zinc or schist in it that gives it kind of a cool coral look. Probably is from the bottom of the ocean or from a shallow reef that was then compressed over time. And same with some of these other conglomerates, this maple rock, or I don't know what they're calling it here. They're calling it Fong stone. But this sometimes goes by maple rock because it looks like maple leaves with the texture. And then there's this other stuff that's like a slate, like a heavier slate, or some sort of I don't know for sure actually. It looks like a silt stone or a slate stone that's just really compressed over time, real heavy, looks great in your Tanganyikan tanks and stuff. And they've also got really interesting Wabi Kuza lava stones that are actually cut down, and ideally these are for aquascapes and for Wabi Kuza projects. This is too big probably, but for the Wabi Kuza, those are like this, where you wrap a ball either of substrate or some core, or you can take a stone and build off of that and make a little presentation just like that there. Now beyond that, bigger pieces look great in aquascapes and things. Their Oko stone, their dragon stone is actually a very hardy kind. It has some pinks and some salmon kind of beige colors in it, which is rad. I like those subtleties up in there. And it doesn't look so fragile. It's not so weak that it just breaks and fractures into a million pieces, ends up a dusty mess, which is handy. And then they also are keeping smaller boxes now of the Sansui and the small Siryu. So if you are working on a small scape, now you can still get the same stone. You can continue your theme. You can look for pieces that have, for instance, a texture or a grain. Maybe you're looking for banding going a certain way, but you need a piece that's shaped a certain way. Well, now you can do all that. Here again, more of these worm-eaten driftwood pieces. And when you put these together with the Oko stone, it's a very interesting look that almost looks like they were made for one another. And hey, whatever costs less and gives you the structure you need, you can really work with those two together. They've also got black diamond lava stone, which is almost like a pumice but dark. It's not going to float, but it's also got a little bit of volcanic glass to it. Then there's the ancient pagoda stone, which this stuff's pretty unusual around these parts, but you've seen pagoda stone probably. This is just kind of another collection point, it looks like, where we got some iron banding, it looks like, and also some looks like rhyolited structures in there, and maybe some even like schist or mineralization of iron and other oxidized iron pyrite or some sort of iron ore mixed in there when you see the black and then the red. And lastly, my favorite stone that they carry is going to be the bug-eaten stone, or the Hakai stone, and it is just worn down and knobbly, and you know, of course, it's just a beautiful stone. It's very heavy, but it looks so natural in a flowing tank with lots of water movement, and it makes the water swirl in really interesting patterns. It's got a nice green and olivine or serpentine stone quality to it, and I don't see a whole bunch of this, but this is more of the multi-layered kind of rose stone that I've seen other places too. So that's kind of what they have for hardscape at the moment. So I wanted to just kind of show you guys what they've got going on here. And if you live in the Seattle area, or you're checking them out online, come through and see what Aquarium Zen has got cooking for you in the way of hardscape. I really like this shop and the way they run things, and the folks who run it, all great people. So check them out for sure if you haven't before.